Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited because I have something to talk to you about today that is really juicy. And I wish that somebody had kind of given me this rundown and this lowdown years ago because I have made some pretty significant investments over the years with a number of different people, sometimes to my liking, sometimes not always so favorable. And it's a really big decision where we spend our money, who I allow myself to be open and vulnerable with, who I entrust my feelings and my heart and my edges with, and who I think well of enough, highly of enough, to bank on their ability and their capacity to support me in something that I have not been able to support myself through to the other side. That's a big decision. So I think most of you know me, but we have a bunch of newbies in the group. I just want to say a special shout out and welcome to you. My name is Lisa Rose. I am the host of the Love Room, obviously, and I'm also the founder of Deeper Love, Better Sex. And I'm a love and dating coach, and I help successful singles who are ready for love but are sick of dating. I help them get excited about dating so they have a good time along the way to meeting their match. So I want to share a personal story because this is something that I have been really present to recently because it's fairly recent. I actually started getting support at a very young age. I think when I saw my first therapist, I was 13 or 14. It's not an easy time in our life. And I was fortunate enough to have access to a therapist to really help me. She was just, she was just actually what I needed at the time. And that kind of set a precedent for me of having a good experience and believing in this notion that just because I'm feeling stuck in an area, there's a threshold that I can't get past or a habit or pattern that I'm bumping up against. It's amazing in this day and age that we can really get support for pretty much everything. So throughout my life, I have relied on therapists and coaches and workshops and trainings. It's something that I have really valued. And I have valued it in particular because part of one of my personal values is freedom. I don't like the way it feels when I feel caught in a habit or a pattern or a thought pattern or a behavior or a way of thinking, something that is repetitive that I know isn't giving me the result that I want. And I know that because of the way I feel and because of what's happening in my life. So I have kind of a short leash and a low threshold for the discomfort that comes with feeling stuck. I don't like to feel stuck. I like to feel free and happy and good. And because I've had a number of experiences that have been really helpful for me, I have a certain faith and confidence in being able to be supported. That by no means that everybody I've given the opportunity to and handed over some money has been helpful. It's kind of like I use the analogy, the more restaurants you go to, the more of them you're not going to like. It's just kind of a numbers game. But what I've learned along the way is how to make a really informed decision so that the chances of it being a good fit for me at the time that I need it are pretty high. And when I was just starting my business, I hired a number of business coaches. Many of them were not so great, and they really, in many ways, just kind of led me down a rabbit hole. But along the way, it helped me to get a lot more sophisticated and really get clear about the specific things that I was needing help with and how to do due diligence. That's hard to say. How to do due diligence with the person that I was considering investing before I just threw money at them. So as a result of that, in the last few months, I have actually decided to work with another business coach who's been very helpful for me. And I also hired somebody because what's really current for me these days is kind of how to be the biggest wizard and magician in my life that I can possibly be. And what I mean by that is really creating a life by design rather than default. And what I've discovered for me that really comes down to is how to keep up the practice of putting my attention where I want it to be to generate the result I want to experience. So recently I hired somebody who's really very masterful at that. And I want to share a little bit about my process getting there because I went back and forth. First, I was like, no, I've invested with so many people. I've worked with so many people. I know this stuff. All I need to do is just go back and listen to the recordings and use it. And I don't need any more information. And I had all this kind of like reasons. Hey, if you're here, I wish I could see who's here. Please introduce yourself and welcome. I had all these reasons why I was not going to do that anymore. But alongside that, there was this deeper feeling, like this internal tug, this just like this intuitive feeling that what that person was offering was really going to support me, that she was going to be a good fit for me, that what she was offering was going to be different than what I had learned so far. And every time I found myself saying no, it was like a no that never really put itself to bed. And I paid a lot of attention to that. And I went to her website and I checked out her testimonial page and I listened to a bunch of her live streams and I got a lot out of what she was offering and I really felt a deep resonance with her. And then here's what I did. I told myself, because I'd been going back and forth and it wasn't even like that much money. I think the total investment was under $1,000. I told myself one day that, okay, you have 24 hours to decide. And when you wake up, you are going to know. And sure enough, I did that. And in the morning, I just absolutely knew that it was the right fit for me. That has been one of the best programs I have ever invested in. And we're only like a couple months in. It's been super helpful for me. And what that has shown me is that my intuition is really trustable. Excuse me, but it's by no means just blind faith. You know, I did my diligence. I got to know her. I asked around, but ultimately I really trusted my intuition. So I think there's a couple of things that get in the way of feeling comfortable saying yes to ourselves. And often we think that it's because we don't think the person that we hire can give us what we need. But underneath that, what I've discovered is that I'm not convinced that I have what it takes to make the transition from where I am to where I want to be. And if you just think about that, it's because, you know, when a habit is developed, it's been given a lot of energy and a lot of attention, and there's a lot of momentum behind it. So it's something that is very familiar and very like a well-greased machine, right? And changing that from where you are seems like, well, how is that going to be possible? But the beauty of working with somebody, and I find this to be especially true with one-on-one work, just because it's very, very, it's highly personalized, is that when you have a good coach, it's like you have a good guide who can see the lay of the land. They can see kind of like the zoom out broad scope version. And I have just found that to be really, really helpful when I'm too up close to either a blind spot or a way of being or something that I have developed as a well-entrenched pattern for a long time. I can't see it, and I definitely can't see what to shift, whether it's an external change or something internal that needs to shift to make a difference. So I wanted to share with you 3 questions that I have asked myself and that I will sometimes present to clients who are considering working together, because this has been really helpful for me. So number 1, do I need this? And, oh, I wish I could read my writing. God, okay, well, we'll just leave it at that. Do I need this? And how I know I need this is, chances are, if you're feeling stuck or agitated or frustrated, you have done as much as you know to do to change that. If you have been wanting to be in partnership for 6 months or a year and that's not happening, you're probably asking yourself, you know, why? What could I be doing differently? What could I be doing to have a better time? What could I be doing to attract the match that I want, right? So there's a sense of what you're doing isn't quite enough to get you where you want to be. So that's how I would define, do I need this? Number 2 is, the person's track record. What do you know about them? Have you been on their website? Have you listened to their live streams? Have you found the information that they give you? Is it helpful for you? Does it help you move the needle from where you are to where you want to be? And do you like them? Because if you're going to be spending time with somebody, whether it's for a month or 3 months or 6 months, you want to enjoy them. You want to basically look forward to being together. That's definitely a question I ask myself before I take on any new client. Like, the like factor has to be there. And then the third one is, what would be the cost of not taking action? If you look down the road 6 months from now and you're in pretty much the exact spot that you're in today, how's that going to feel for you? And that's a very personal question. It might feel tolerable. It might not be a big deal. For some people, it's like they really want to make more money, so they hire a money and mindset coach. They want to grow their business, so they hire a business coach. Well, I'm a dating and relationship coach. So the question would be, if you want better dates with people who excite you more, that you feel attracted to, who are also interested in the same way in you, so that you end up in a really thriving, satisfying, juicy relationship. Right? If that doesn't happen for you, what's the cost of that? Right? So those are questions that are just, for you to kind of ruminate on and maybe spend some time with. And one of the reasons I wanted to come on and do this today is because I've had a number of people reach out, and actually most of the slots are now full for my Dating 3.0, which is my 30 Days to Great Dates program. It's a one-on-one program. And we meet 5 times over the course of 30 days. And a lot has been happening for the people. I actually have men and women in this program who joined the program. Oh, hi, Viola. So nice to see you. And I've talked a bit about that program, but I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. It's on my website. I'll post the link. There's lots of information on the webpage. But here's the deal. There's really 3 things that it takes to be successful at dating. And as you know, because you've heard me talk about this, successful at dating doesn't just mean you end up at the altar with somebody you adore. It means you enjoy the process. Okay, so number 1, you feel really confident in who you are and how you date so that you can relax in the process. Number 2, you have a mindset of faith and confidence that it's going to work. And number 3, you have the communication skills so that at every step and every phase and every juncture of dating, which actually starts with the very first hello, and there's 100 different things that can come up very quickly, from how often you see each other to how often you text to whether or not they're on time, a million different things. Dating is not like a red carpet ride. There's a lot of decisions. So how well you do that determines how the relationship does or doesn't develop. That's what Dating 3.0 is about. And it's really for you if you're not stoked about your dating life. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. I will post the link. You can get all of the details. This program, this offering is $7.95. The next time round, it's probably going to go up. I price it at this rate because I really want as many of you who want support with your dating life, I want you to be able to have it. So I didn't make it, so exorbitant that was going to be, a really hard decision. The other thing I just want to say about that is that plunking down a credit card or handing over a chunk of change, if you've made a big investment, you've bought a car, you bought a house, you went to a Tony Robbins event, you went on an Abraham cruise, it costs money. And the way that I find that feels is that it's kind of a combination of being really grateful that I have said yes to myself and scared shitless because I'm parting with some cash, whether it's a credit card or not. But when I look back on kind of like the long view of all of the dollars that I have spent, and it's quite a bit over the course of my life, I know that I wouldn't be here today without the bulk of those investments. I absolutely know that. So it's money where there has been a very high ROI, very high return, mostly in the form of better relationships and more happiness. So you can't really put a price tag on that. So you guys, if you listen to the replay, because we don't have a ton of live viewers today, please leave a comment. Let me know that you popped in. Just put your name in, put a little emoji. If you have any questions, the best thing to do is to schedule a 20-minute dating makeover session with me so we can go over what you're needing and how I can be of service to you. All right, you guys, have a fabulous day. Ciao for now.